Welcome back to another Red Dice Diaries video about different types of villains, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Hidden Mastermind. The Hidden Mastermind is a tricky villain, both to stop for the player characters and to portray for the GM. In fact, when the player characters first stumble across one of the Mastermind's schemes, they may not even realise there is a singular villain behind it. The Hidden Mastermind has an often elaborate plan that they are enacting for some reason, generally towards ends that benefit themselves, so money, power, fame, the usual sorts of things that villains tend to go for. What sets them apart from other villains is that rather than taking the straight route towards their goal, conquest, murder, etc., they operate slowly and methodically in the background, only striking out from behind layers of deception and often using agents who may or may not be aware of the identity of the villain that they're working for. The reason the Mastermind does this is twofold. One, it hides their identity from anyone seeking to bring them to justice, and two, even if you suspect or know that the Mastermind is behind the latest foiled plot, it's very difficult to prove it when their agent was killed during the mission, assassinated later by another agent, or was captured by the forces of law and order, but genuinely has no idea who gave them their original missions. So what resources do they possess? Well, the Hidden Mastermind is normally cunning and conniving, of above average intelligence, but that intelligence is turned to villainous or foul ends. One of the most obvious examples I can think of from literature is Professor Moriarty from the Sherlock Holmes stories. In the story, The Final Problem, Holmes describes his nemesis thusly. He sits motionless like a spider in the centre of its web, but that web has 1,000 radiations, and he knows well every quiver of each of them. He does little himself, he only plans. But his agents are numerous and splendidly organised. Is there a crime to be done? A paper to be abstracted? We will say, a house to be rifled? A man to be removed? The word is passed to the professor. The matter is organised and carried out. The agent may be caught. In that case, the money is found for his bail or his defence, but the central power which uses the agent is never caught, never so much as suspected. This was the organisation which I deduced, Watson, and which I devoted my whole energy to exposing and breaking up. This epitomises the Hidden Mastermind. They have financial resources, often power and great intelligence, and their foul deeds are committed through webs of agents and intrigues, leaving their hands apparently clean should they ever be investigated. So how do you use them in your game? Well, of course, if a hidden mastermind is too cunning or too perfect, then they won't be great for an RPG. After all, an enemy who's never seen or known about may as well not exist. However, the distant nature of the mastermind can be used to your advantage in a game, since they don't have unlimited resources and they will not waste their best agents dealing with minor inconveniences. This means that, at lower level, the PCs can face off against inexperienced thugs, only coming into contact with more lethal agents, and perhaps the mastermind themselves, when they are more experienced and have proven themselves a greater threat to the villain, justifying the use of his more elite henchmen. Hidden masterminds are also not without weaknesses, and it's often these weaknesses that lead to their downfall. When you're creating a villain like this, think about a weakness they have that smart player characters could use against them, something that may cause the villain to slip up or make a mistake that your group can capitalise on. It could be money, an irrational hatred, an obsession with particular artefacts, perhaps vanity that causes them to leave a signature of some kind at their crime scene. Even Professor Moriarty, for all his intelligence, makes a mistake. He becomes obsessed with matching wits with and eliminating Holmes. Eventually, this obsession causes him to confront the great detective directly at the Reichenbach Falls, where he meets his death. So if you're going to use a hidden mastermind in your game, yes, create these webs of agents that they act from behind so that the players can't just rumble them straight away and go after them. But you need to seed clues about. Like say, perhaps the villain has a signature that's left at the crime scene, and maybe the players encounter that in a few seemingly unrelated sort of missions that they go on, and they can gradually start to piece together that there's a single agency behind it. Perhaps your hidden mastermind is obsessed with objets d'art from a certain historical period in your campaign world, and The player characters investigate a series of seemingly unrelated thefts until they realise that most of the objects stolen were statues from the ancient period of elven artisans or something similar. You need to make sure there are at least a few clues so that players who do put the pieces together and want to investigate further have somewhere to go. Because although the hidden mastermind takes pains to hide themselves, you also want to give the player characters, if they're smart enough, a chance to locate the mastermind and to foil him once and for all. So there we go. That's our short episode on the hidden mastermind. We hope you've got something out of that. Until we see you next time, take care, stay safe, and keep gaming.